Then do you think there are different levels of Australian? In my mind, if I was to ask, what does it mean to be Australian? I would strongly push back on this idea that it's a culture. I would strongly push back that it's subscribing to this set of values. I would say it's something more inherent. There is an ethnic part of it. There is a faith based part of it as well. I don't think that, citizenship tests are doing a good job at the moment, and they sort of loosely outline the Australian values, that might just say mateship. And it's like, yeah, sure, I agree with that. I'm sure, what's his name? Akram's father, the other Bondi shooter. I'm sure when he was getting his visa, he had to sort of agree to a few of these vague sort of values. And guess what? It didn't make him Australian. And it's not making the people that are getting citizenship Australian either. Then do you think there are different levels of Australian, which is sort of this debate that
Yes.
Vivek Ramaswamy's come out and said there's not any different levels of American. If you come here, get your H-1B visa and then become a citizen, you're as American as the guys that got off the Mayflower. Is, in your perspective, is there
only from an ethnic level? Only from an ethnic level. So, like,
but
for
does it
example,
apply?
that's well, in terms of your ability to be called an Australian, not really. I think you might caveat it. Like, for example, I'm Maltese. I was born in Malta. I came here when I was 3 years old. But Malta's a bit of a different one because we were under British rule for 200 odd years. But no, I don't see from a values set people who have a background that is non-Australian. That is to say, if your family has been here for 100 years or 200 years or 300 years, that you are any less Australian from a values perspective. But I wouldn't call your ethnicity Australian. But where I think we will struggle is if we start to break people down to how long they've been in a certain place or a certain, like, you could be in a job for 2 months and say, my boss is an idiot. He's been here for 10 years. Like, how does he still have a job? So just because the Australian population, and look at the people who vote for the policies that we all dislike. As a general rule of thumb, it is always the same as in America. It is white liberal women. That is to say, ethnically Australian / British liberal women. And so I struggle with the idea that the value set can be attached to the ethnicity, and that the ethnicity not being a white identitarian or Anglo identitarian Australian is somehow going to degrade your ability to add to the values of this nation and live within its way of life.